to the United States now, where the long-awaited hush money trial of former President Donald Trump is underway in New York. It will be the first time ever that a U.S. president, whether former or current, has faced a criminal trial. A trial that is expected to last at least 6 weeks, with the first one or two dedicated to selecting a jury. The 77-year-old former president, who's arrived at the Manhattan courthouse, is also accused of trying to cover up a $130,000 hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 election, which he won. Daniels claimed she and Trump had intercourse in 2006. She was then paid by his then lawyer, Michael Cohen, to stay quiet about it. Trump is accused of falsifying his business records by saying the reimbursement money he gave Cohen was for legal fees. He faces 34 counts of fraud, but denies any legal wrongdoing. He also denies having an affair with Daniels. Staying in the United States, one person has been killed, 7 others injured in a mass shooting in Chicago. The deceased, aged 7, succumbed to her injuries after being shot in the head. Law enforcement believe the shooting, which occurred in South Side Chicago, was likely gang-related. According to the Chicago Police Department, the victims were taking part in a family gathering when 2 gunmen shot at the crowd. Police say an investigation into the incident is ongoing. We're staying with violent crime, this time in Australia. A bishop named Mari Emmanuel has been stabbed during a sermon in Sydney, Australia on Sunday. The attack, which was being streamed online, left several worshippers injured. Police say none of their injuries is life-threatening. While the police notes the motive for the attack is unknown, they say the man has been arrested and is helping with necessary inquiries. It was also not immediately clear what weapon was used in the attack, which is reported to have happened at the Christ the Good Shepherd Church in Wakeley. In the live-streamed video on the sermon, a man dressed in dark clothing was seen approaching the bishop before appearing to strike him. Meanwhile, to another stabbing, this time last week, also in Sydney. Police say the man who went on a stabbing rampage in a shopping centre appears to have targeted women, as 5 of the 6 people who died were female. A baby girl was also injured in the attack. The attack, identified as 40-year-old Joel Kochi, caused a major panic in Westfield Bondi Junction when he began stabbing people with a long blade. The New South Wales Police Commissioner said it was obvious Mr. Kochi focused on women and avoided the men. The women were aged between 20 and 55 years. The only man killed in the attack was a security guard, a 30-year-old guard who tried to intervene. Authorities previously said the attack was mostly related to the mental health of Mr. Kochi, who was shot dead by a lone police officer on Saturday. Today is exactly 1 year since the war broke out in Sudan. People are suffering under the impacts, with a lack of aid pushing the country towards the edge of famine. The war began the country's military, headed by General Abdel Fattah Burhan, and the Rapid Support Forces, commanded by General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, who has killed thousands of people and forced 8 million people at least to flee their homes to safer areas inside of Sudan or to neighboring countries. According to the United Nations figures, South Sudan has received about 640,000 people seeking safety, including refugees and South Sudanese returnees, many of them returning home after many years. Over 1.8 million people have crossed borders to find safety in neighboring countries, namely the Central African Republic, Chad, Egypt, South Sudan, and Ethiopia.
I'm in Rink in South Sudan. This is a place that has seen 530,000 people come through the border from Sudan, and over 635,000 people in total, new arrivals to this country after war broke out a year ago. This is a community that has welcomed refugees from Sudan, but also welcomed those South Sudanese returning to their country after many, many years away. We, UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, and partners are working around the clock to try to provide assistance to those new arrivals, those returnees, those refugees, trying to ensure that the host community here can support the many pressures that are upon them. But this is an aid effort that needs to continue, and we need to be looking at this effort as not just one of emergency response, but thinking about solutions already. Where can people go where they can start rebuilding their lives? They can start taking care of their families that have been just through traumatic incidents. But until we see peace in Sudan, we will be here in South Sudan to be able to support this country, its people, and importantly, the returnees and the refugees that depend on them for protection and aid.
Chad's interim president Mahamat Idris Deby has started campaigning for the presidential election meant to restore his country to democratic civilian rule. He'll face 9 other candidates in the poll scheduled for May 6, including the junta-appointed Prime Minister Succès Masra. At his first campaign rally in the capital N'Djamena, he pledged to strengthen security and guarantee Chad's peace and stability. Mr. Deby initially promised an 18-month transition to democratic rule after he seized power in 2021, following the death of his father. He later postponed the elections until this year, triggering protests that were violently suppressed by security forces. He is widely expected to win the election, which some opposition politicians have branded a farce. We're staying on the continent. Nearly 60 people have died since the start of heavy rains causing flooding in the East African country of Tanzania. The coastal region is one of the worst affected, with floods damaging thousands of farms. Government spokesperson Mubare Matingi says 58 deaths have been recorded across the country. A month of April marks the peak of Tanzania's rainy season. This year has seen the heaviest rainfall of recent years. The deluge has also led to the deaths of at least 13 people and displaced some 15,000 in neighboring Kenya. This is as a result of the El Nino weather phenomenon, which has worsened this year's seasonal rains. And in the Democratic Republic of Congo, a landslide in the southwest region caused by heavy rains has killed at least 15 people, left as many as 60 others missing. However, local officials say 7 people were found alive after the landslide on Saturday near the port in the town of Idiofa. A rescue team has been dispatched to help search for more survivors. Authorities say it's difficult to determine the exact number of people missing, because the area is used as a marketplace every Saturday. The officials described the area as a port where fishermen sell their goods. The ECOWAS Commission has sponsored the training of 150 youths on fish production business here in Nigeria's state of Anambra. According to the Commissioner for Economic Affairs and Agriculture, this is in line with the implementation of the Commission's strategy to empower youths in the aquaculture sector for a shared prosperity, inclusive and sustainable development.
This is in the second week. This is in the third week.
A team from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, representatives of the Anambra State government, trainers and trainees are inspecting fish ponds on the grounds of the Anambra State Polytechnic used to train youths in fisheries and aquaculture.
Go ahead. Okay.
The training is part of the Commission's strategy to empower youths in aquaculture for a shared prosperity, as well as inclusive and sustainable development.
So as you can see, this was stopped in the first month, in the first week of the training. Then this is in the second week. This is in the third week.
Explanations are given on the processes involved and the training outcomes.
This table fish production, we applied or employed a systematic approach. It's not like the normal fish farmers we do have outside. This system, we call it temporary system, where we adopt different standard operating procedures in everything we do, starting from the water management, the feed management, the fish stocking, and also the management of the fish in terms of grading and sorting.
The ECOWAS Commission team is led by the Commissioner for Economic Affairs and Agriculture, who appears to be satisfied with the practical training in table fish production.
We had strategy. It's good to have strategy. It's good to have policy. But at the point of time, you need to implement. You need to empower youth and women. And the strategy that we had was aligned to the vision of shared prosperity for the community.
Some of the trainees share their experiences and dreams.
To me, this is the best training that I've ever been to. It was not just coming into class and they would just be talking. We actually practicalized the whole thing. Me that I'm not from Mbaku, but I stayed in this Mbaku for 1 month plus before this particular training. And it was a very wonderful training to me. I learned so many things.
Our target on this mission is that we need to produce 51 million tons annually in table fish, and which we are capable. We are normally trained enough to carry it along.
After the tour is the formal graduation ceremony. The 150 trained table fish producers and the Deputy Governor, Dr. Onyeka Ibezim, representing the Governor, Professor Chukuma Soludo, join in the celebration. In their welcome addresses, the training coordinator and rector of the Polytechnic notes that Anambra State was selected as one of the 25 centers in the 15 ECOWAS countries and one of the 4 in Nigeria, supported by the Commission, to train young people in table fish production.
The 150 youths were trained on table fish production with connections with other segments of the value chain.
Throughout your time in the program, you have gained valuable knowledge about the field of study you have been training in, and we are confident that you are well prepared to move forward in that area.
There are other privileges that come with their successful training, as the ECOWAS Commissioner announces them as ambassadors of the Aquaculture project.
Vibrant youth, ladies and gentlemen, by receiving your certificates today, you become ambassador of change in your community.
The Deputy Governor hands over the new ambassadors to ECOWAS Commission and charges them to make positive impact with the skill they have acquired.
These students undergone a very thorough and rigorous training, and by your standards, they have been found worthy both in learning and in character. We hereby present them to you.
Such a nice thing to happen. We're ending the program now with Dutch farmers opening the Tulip Experience Park in the Netherlands with an estimated 1 million pieces of flowers and 700 varieties in its fields. Just, take your pick. The park has been dedicated for tourists to take pictures of the brightly colored flowers among them. According to Tulip Experience Amsterdam director, Sylvia Pennings, the show garden was created 5 years ago to give locals and foreigners the opportunity to appreciate and experience the flowers without having the farmers' harvests destroyed. Besides the outdoor tulip garden, the theme park also houses a museum where visitors can learn more about the tulip's history and harvesting process. So if you're in the Netherlands and you find your way to the park, it's open until May 12th. Wish I could get my hands on those. Thanks for watching The World Today. I'm Amarachi Ubani.